Hi everyone, good morning. Hope you all are doing good. Welcome back to our online classes, Class +1 English. I hope you have already learned 2 chapters. The Portrait of a Lady, the first chapter, and We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together, the second one. Then you have already completed the first poem, a photograph. It is also completed. This much is clear for you, isn't it? So, today we can learn the next poem, The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes. I know there is a chapter, Discovering Tut, the third chapter. Discovering Tut, the saga continues, is the third chapter. We can discuss about that chapter later after completing this poem. Okay, ready? In this poem, The Laburnum Top, the poet discusses about the mutual relationship between a tree and a bird. It's a very beautiful poem. It describes the relationship between a tree and a bird. The tree is Laburnum. Okay, the name of the tree is Laburnum. It's a very common tree. All parts of this tree, that is root, bark, wood, leaves, flowers and seeds, contain toxic substance. So it is a poisonous tree. And this tree is a poisonous tree with yellow flowers. It is also known as golden chain tree because the floral arrangement is just like a golden chain. Okay, so the flowers are yellow in color and it has got the shape of a chain made up of gold. The color is yellow, that's why. And the bird, goldfinch, it is a small yellow bird. Okay. So this poem describes the mutual relationship between these two, a bird and a tree. Before starting the lesson, we can have a look on the poet. Okay, about the poet. Edward James Hughes, that is Ted Hughes, one of the 20th century greatest writers. The use of alliteration and assonance is a frequent phenomenon in his poetry. In this poem also we can see so many figures of speech like simile, metaphor, assonance, alliteration, repetition, personification, etc. So his poem is filled with so many figures of speech, okay, that we can discuss in the next classes in detail. Today I am going to give you just a summary of the poem and I will read the poem for you. Okay, detailed description about this poem we can include it in next classes. In this poem, the poet has used laburnum tree and goldfinch as a symbol of life and its fluctuation. It shows these are the symbolism, and it is used as a symbol of life and the variations of the life. Through this poem, the poet is trying to convey the message that life is a process of exchange and transformation. Life is fluctuating all the time. Nobody's life is fixed. And nowadays we are experiencing the changes of our life, isn't it? And Ted Hughes describes the laburnum tree on a sunny September day. Okay, and the first stanza describes about the sunny day of a September month. And he describes the top of the tree. A goldfinch flies over and enters the tree. Once the bird is out of sight, the speaker hears the flurry of chirping. Then the bird comes out onto a branch and flies away, and the tree returns to its previous state of silence. So this is the summary of the poem. This poem is divided into different stanzas. The first stanza says about the miserable condition of the laburnum, and the second stanza describes the changes that happens in the tree after the arrival of the bird. Third and fourth stanza talks about the departure of the bird and what has happened to the tree after the departure of the bird. So, now I'll read this poem for you. Take your textbook and listen. I hope you all got the summary. And it is on page number 31 of the textbook Hornbill. Okay, so I am going to read the poem for you. The Laburnum Top, Ted Hughes. The laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at the branch end. Then sleek as a lizard, and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up, of chitterings, and a tremor of wings and thrillings, the whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She stalks it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. Then with eerie, delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away towards the infinity, and the laburnum subsides to empty. So this is the poem. In the next classes, we can have the further explanation of this poem. Today I will give you a short summary. So the first stanza, the laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Here, the first line says about the top of the tree. It is silent, that means it is quiet and still without any movement. There is no movement at all. And in the next line we can see the poet is describing about the autumn season, September sunlight, and the leaves already turned yellow in color. That means they are ready to fall. It is the fall season. That means autumn. And later what happened? There is no movement on the tree, and the leaves had turned yellow, and the seeds had already fallen. That tree is standing like death-like. Later, the condition of the tree changes with the arrival of the bird. She has a shelter on the tree. The tree is her shelter. She arrives with a chirping sound. And after the arrival of the bird, she is the mother bird. As soon as she arrives, her younger ones start chirping like a machine. And they start to vibrate and flap their wings. The death-like tree becomes alive, and it trembles and started moving. So the arrival of the bird has made a change in the tree. The tree was standing still without any movement, and the arrival of the bird, the mother bird, has made a change on the tree. It has entirely changed with a lot of movements, and that energy of life that the tree has got from the mother bird and the younger ones. After feeding the younger ones, the mother bird flies to the other side of the branch. Her yellow colored body is barely visible. You know that the sun is yellow in color, the tree is yellow in color, its flowers and its leaves are yellow in color, and the bird is also yellow in color. So the bird is barely visible. It is known as camouflage. You know what's a camouflage? That means the color is blending with its background. We can't barely see, and it's very difficult to identify the bird from the yellow background, yellow tree. Later, the bird flew away in the sky and the tree returns to empty. The tree is waiting for the next arrival of the mother bird. The mother bird comes in an interval with food to feed her young ones, and there is a silence in the tree after the departure and before the arrival of the mother. Then after mother's arrival, the young ones also start flapping and vibrating. That creates an entire change in the tree. That is the short summary of this poem. Further detailed descriptions we can see in the next classes. So thank you. That's all for today.